Staredowns are one of the most interesting parts of the build-up to an MMA fight. Whether they're at a weigh-in, a press conference, or inside the cage, staredowns are extremely effective at getting fight fans hyped up. They can be extremely intense or outright hilarious, but there's no denying that staredowns are completely unpredictable. I'm Joe MMA 195, and today we'll be looking at some crazy and unexpected moments during MMA staredowns. The Jason Barrett vs. Alex Reed weigh-in. During the weigh-in for UCMMA 22, Jason Barrett and Alex Reed faced off for an intense stare-down. It was very clear that these two men disliked one another as they began talking trash while face-to-face. During this heated confrontation, Reed strangely decided to kiss Barrett, causing Barrett to explode in anger as he attempted to attack Reed while being held back by security. All of Sean O'Connell's weigh-in face-offs. Sean O'Connell is without a doubt one of the goofiest fighters in MMA and is notorious for coming up with new ridiculous things to do at every single one of his weigh-ins. Because I can't narrow it down to just one, let's take a look at a few of Sean O'Connell's best weigh-in moments. The Ronda Rousey vs. Holly Holm weigh-in face-off. Throughout the build-up to Rousey's fight against Holly Holm, there seemed to be a lot of mutual respect between the two fighters. However, when it came time for them to face off at the weigh-in, the two got into a scuffle as Rousey attempted to shove Holm's arm out of the way. Holm responded to this by placing her fist against Rousey's face, which clearly upset Rousey, as she tried to attack Holm while being pulled away by Dana White.
134 for the champion!
The Conor McGregor vs. Nate Diaz press conference face-off. McGregor and Diaz undoubtedly had one of the most entertaining rivalries of all time. The second press conference for their fight at UFC 196 was hilariously entertaining, and fans knew to expect fireworks when it came time for their stare-down. When the two came face-to-face, Nate got into a stance as he put his fist directly in front of McGregor, to which McGregor responded by punching Nate's hand out of the way. This resulted in the two nearly getting into a brawl as security had to separate them. The Anderson Silva vs. Luis Azaredo face-off. Now this one goes way back to the year 2000 when Anderson Silva would be competing in only his third MMA fight against a fighter named Luis Azaredo. As the two fighters came face-to-face in the ring, Silva strangely decided to kiss Azaredo on the lips. But luckily, Azaredo didn't have much of a reaction. Azaredo would go on to win this fight by decision, handing Silva his first defeat in MMA. The Heath vs. Yoshihironaka face-off. At K1 Premium 2005 Dynamite, Heath was set to fight Yoshihironaka. When the two would come face-to-face in the ring, for some odd reason, Nakao would decide to kiss Herring on the lips, to which Herring would respond by punching Nakao in the face, knocking him out cold before the fight had even begun.
今相手を指さしていますが、まだゴングが鳴る前でしたけれども。
I didn't touch him. I stood there and he tried to kiss me on the lip. I'm not gay. I'm not gay.
The infamous John Jones vs. Daniel Cormier face-off. Jones and Cormier had one of the most heated rivalries in the history of MMA, and it all started during a media event where the two would face off for their very first stare-down. When the two fighters came face-to-face, Jones decided to aggressively place his forehead against Cormier's, to which Cormier responded by shoving Jones. A brawl then ensued as Jones shoved UFC executive Dave Schaller to the ground while trying to attack Cormier. The brawl was quickly broken up, but as the fighters were being pulled away by security, Cormier attempted to get one last shot at Jones as he pulled off his own shoe and threw it across the room. However, the shoe ended up missing Jones and hitting one of the media people in the crowd. Both Jones and Cormier ended up being fined for this incident. The Anderson Silva versus Chris Weidman weigh-in face-off. During the weigh-in for Silva's first fight with Weidman at UFC 162, the two fighters would come face-to-face for an intense stare-down. However, Silva would get a little bit too close to Weidman, causing their lips to be pressed against each other and making this stare-down extremely awkward.
Two questions. First of all, what is it like to kiss Anderson Silva? Nice lips.
As awkward as this stare-down was, the two were able to laugh it off and even joked about it during the lead up to their rematch at UFC 168. The Jon Jones vs. Anthony Johnson press conference face-off. After defeating Daniel Cormier at UFC 182, Jones was set to have his next title defense at UFC 187 against top contender Anthony "Rumble" Johnson. During the first press conference for this event, Jones and Johnson would come face-to-face for their very first stare-down, where they seemingly almost got into a brawl. However, as Dana White separated the two fighters, they both began to laugh as they revealed that this was all a prank that they had planned backstage. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like down below and subscribe for more MMA content.